Hello, and thank you for joining us at the Roundtable and our talk today about Sarasota County Schools Food and Nutrition Services. I'm Leanne McIntyre, and I am joined today by Director of Food and Nutrition Services, Beverly Gerard. Beverly, welcome.
Thank you.
And Lisa Wood, the key person in the department handling the free and reduced lunch program. So welcome, Lisa.
Thank you.
So I'm going to start, before we get into the nitty-gritty of that program, with Beverly. There's so much that goes on in food and nutrition services besides just lunch. Breakfast, snacks after school, sometimes dinner programs, weekend things. So I'd like to turn it over to you, and you can maybe share with the community a little bit about what you do for.
Certainly, Leanne. I think we could say that we start the day with breakfast and we end the day with a supper program. So I'll walk through each of the different programs we have available.
That'd be great.
Our breakfast program is available at all schools throughout the district. We know that research indicates that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. So what our mother said was true. It really is the most important meal of the day. We have a number of children who come to us without having had breakfast at home. And we have some children who may have a decent supper the night before, but not always. And we have kids who are working. So when they get to school, that's an opportunity for us to help them start their school day in an appropriate manner. We know that absences, tardiness, are decreased when there's a school breakfast program.
Wow.
But what is most important, I think, that our community needs to know is there's tremendous research that shows the link between academic achievement and the provision of a school breakfast program. So it kind of evens the playing field for everyone, those who may have had food at home or those who may have arrived at school without a breakfast.
Yes, it's because there is a lot of data that shows that food is so important, so the child isn't just thinking all day of I'm hungry, I'm hungry. It feeds your brain, it feeds your body, and obviously then you can learn.
Well, we know as adults how cranky we might get if we didn't have a breakfast or lunch. So the same is true for children, especially true for children, as when we want them to perform academically. Then, of course, we go into the lunch program, and we obviously have a school lunch program at all of our schools throughout the district. We serve currently about 30,000, 32,000 meals a day, which is a lot of meals that we serve to our children.
Right, because we have approximately 42,000, so some children bring their lunch from home.
Certainly, and some children actually may leave the school, especially at our high school grades. They may leave school before lunch is even served. But we do have a good percentage of children we serve, and we're delighted about that. We have such a variety. I think you've helped serve, Leanne, during National School Lunch Week before.
Right,
and we have a tremendous variety of entrees. Children are allowed up to 4 1/2 cup servings of fruits and vegetables a day. So we don't want a child going away from the lunch line hungry. Of course, they have the access to milk, fluid milk, and so forth. So we're very conscientious about making sure that the children have a balanced meal to continue their day. At certain schools, we also have a fresh fruit and vegetable program. These are for our schools that are the highest free and reduced in the district. Currently, we are serving Emma Booker, Alta Vista, and Tuttle Elementary with the fresh fruit and vegetable program. Then as we work through the day, we have many schools that either have a supper program or an after-school snack program. Our supper programs are available at 15 schools, and they tend to be our highest free and reduced schools. So it's not a huge supper meal like you might think, but it's for children who may have to stay until later in the afternoon.
So a parent
or early
maybe
evening.
can pick them up. There isn't a bus or
because that would be a very long time to go from lunch to much later in the early afternoon or early evening. So we're really happy about that. One more thing I just want to talk to you about is our huge Farm to School program.
Yes.
We have been working with Farm to School in Sarasota since essentially 2007, we started dabbling in it. 2009, we got serious. And now we have won a number of USDA and state level farm to school grants. So we're working with our local farmers to the greatest extent possible. And now we are building school-based farms. That's just an initiative we've really tackled last year and this year, and we're just getting our bearings. But our eventual goal is to produce food on school property that we'll use in the National School Lunch Program.
Yeah, so we've done a few stories on these gardens. It is very exciting, and it's great for children to learn about where food comes from, how it grows, and it just doesn't magically appear. So Lisa, let's jump into lunch.
Okay.
And so about approximately how many of our children, of that 42,000, are on free and reduced lunch?
We've been hovering around 50% free and reduced probably since 2010-11. 2008-9, when there was economic issues going on, we saw a large upswing in our free and reduced program. And since 10-11, we've been hovering right around that 50% mark, pretty steady.
So that is, in a community we consider to be fairly wealthy, is a significant number of, 50% of 42,000 is a significant number. So how does a child get into that program in order to be able to have lunch?
We have a few different ways that a child can be certified for free or reduced price meals. We get a list from the state every few months of children who are directly certified through participation in the SNAP or food stamp program. The certain Medicaid programs might also qualify for them, or temporary aid for needy families. Any of our foster students would automatically qualify, and anybody who may be a family in transition or working with Schoolhouse Link. Other than that, we do our free and reduced applications based on household size and income.
Okay, so you really get a lot of outside help to first identify them, because I always wondered how do you find them? But let's say they're not on that list. So how would a parent go about signing up? Because I'm sure they're hesitant to really, have people know that.
Sure. We have two ways that they can apply for it if they are not qualified through direct certification. We have an online application program that's available in English and Spanish. We also have paper applications that are available at each school, and they're also in English and Spanish. If a parent does not have a computer at home, we invite them to go to any one of our cafeteria managers' offices, and they will assist them with doing the application on the computer. Not everybody has the skills or feels comfortable with doing that.
Right, right. And obviously, if they're needing that food assistance, they might not have a computer at home, even if they know how to use one. How have you seen the fresh food partnerships help with lunches and snacks? How has that impacted your program?
Well, I think anytime you can give a child who is insecure about food at home a little extra something during the day, a snack, like you were saying earlier, if they're not concentrating on feeling hungry or worrying about what they're going to eat, they're going to concentrate on their schoolwork. We don't need a child to worry about where their food is coming from.
And produce tends to be one of the most expensive items in your grocery cart. So if the family is already experiencing some difficulty with finances, it's possible that fresh fruits and vegetables are not as prevalent at home. So we make sure those are available in our department. You mentioned too, Leanne, some parents may be a little hesitant about signing up for free and reduced. Lisa does a marvelous job making sure that parents feel secure. She used to be our manager at Heron Creek Middle School and therefore had direct access to students. We know that parents sometimes don't necessarily like to even apply for the benefits, But we want to remind people that even if it's a temporary
Yes.
situation, the National School Lunch Program is meant as a safety net for our children. So we are so cautious about making sure that the process is anonymous. As Lisa indicated, the applications are online.
Yes.
But then when the children come to school and they access their student accounts, it's a 5-digit PIN number, whether you're on free lunch, reduced price lunch, or you're a paying child. So years ago, you may remember kids who were on free lunch had a token or a ticket.
Right.
All of that went away years and years ago.
It's the same exact process, no matter what the status is for each student as they go through the line. We do have some parents who will call the office before they want to fill out that application, and we kind of, once we get talking to them about how it goes, and we talk about our confidentiality for the students, they feel a little bit more at ease and feel more comfortable in filling out the application.
We have a number of parents who are reluctant, and sometimes
Yes.
Lisa has to just tell them, if this is a temporary issue for you,
Yes.
we can provide benefits for now, and when things get better, let us know.
Yes,
We do that sometimes.
we do.
We do. Yeah, that's wonderful because, right, the children, can face other kind of
Yes.
peer pressure
Sure.
and bullying. We don't need to add
No.
that to the mix of what
No.
some kids might face in school. So it's really a marvelous program, and we'll share some of the information on here of how they can, people can contact you. So we'll put some of that information up for everyone. But what didn't I touch on, Lisa? Maybe that you also want to share a little bit more about free and reduced lunch, or your passion for making sure students are fed.
I think the importance of the program cannot be stressed enough. For some of our students, this may be the only meals they get.
Right.
So the importance of that cannot be stressed enough, I feel.
There are, yes, certainly students who go home and don't have anything all weekend.
Exactly.
And so their breakfast Monday morning is the first thing that they get to eat.
True.
Beverly, anything else?
There is one thing I wanted to mention, Leanne, and that is our community remembers what we just went through with Hurricane Irma. I want to give a little shout out for the members of our department. When we in the National School Lunch Program serve breakfast, lunch, supper, etc. during the school day to our school children. But when we are activated for shelters, with the flip of a switch, our employees become emergency food providers. So when people come to the cafeterias and they see the people that are serving, these are the very same people, and it's the very same food that we serve our kids. We received so many positive comments after this last activation. I just want to remind the public that these are our school board employees who are there. In some cases,
Yes.
they've left their own families at home. In some cases, they brought them with.
Yes.
But it's a tremendous community service that we feel is so vitally important to provide during that time of stress.
Right. So I thank you both for joining us today. Food and nutrition are so important today when health is like a #1 topic across the nation, and poverty, and so feeding our children so that they can learn is important. And certainly here in Florida, knowing there are places to go when there's a hurricane is also important, and the public needs to know that the school district does also help with that. So I want to thank you both very much for joining us today and sharing this with our public. Thank you at home for watching, and we'll see you again at the Roundtable on the Education Channel.